Most tractors are designed with an end in mind, a service life, a replacement cycle, but a few machines never followed that plan. They worked through dust, heat, frozen mornings, and overloaded days. They survived missed maintenance, bad fuel, and decades of hard use. Not because they were the strongest, not because they were the most advanced, but because they were built with something most machines lost over time: mechanical honesty. Farmers didn't just use these tractors, they trusted them. They kept them running long after logic said they should be gone. Today we're counting down 10 tractors that refused to die and became legends because of it. Ranked 10th. Allis-Chalmers D17. The tractor that was never supposed to last this long. When the Allis-Chalmers D17 arrived in the late 1950s, it wasn't meant to become a legend. It was built to be practical, affordable, easy to live with, and that's exactly why it survived. The D17 introduced ideas that were quietly ahead of their time. A torque-amplifying drivetrain, simple hydraulics, and a powertrain designed to work efficiently at lower RPMs. On paper, it wasn't the strongest tractor in its class, but in the field it proved something more important: balance. Farmers overloaded it. They ran it longer than recommended. They fixed it with basic tools, not dealership computers. And it kept going. What made the D17 refuse to die wasn't over-engineering. It was clarity of design. There were fewer failure points, thicker castings, mechanical systems that could be understood, adjusted, and repaired by the people who depended on it. Decades later, many D17s are still working small farms, pulling wagons, running augers, often on engines that have never been fully rebuilt. That's why the D17 earned its cult status. Not because it was famous, but because it quietly outlasted expectations. Ranked 9th. Kubota L-series, early models. The tractor farmers didn't respect until it outlasted everything. On many American farms, there was a rule: the small tractor goes first. If something was going to break, fail, or refuse to start, it would be the compact one. Early Kubota L-series tractors lived under that assumption every single day. They were handed the jobs no one worried about, left outside, started cold, run hard, then ignored. And yet, they kept showing up. Kubota didn't design these machines to compete with American horsepower. They built them with restraint, tight engine tolerances, conservative diesel tuning, and drivetrains that avoided unnecessary stress. Nothing flashy, nothing excessive, just consistency. While bigger tractors cycled through repairs, the L-series quietly stacked hours. Many owners don't even know how long theirs have been running. The hour meters failed long before the engines did. That's how the Kubota L-series earned its cult status. Not by being respected, but by surviving long enough to force respect. Ranked 8th. Zetor Crystal, original line, built behind the Iron Curtain, trusted everywhere else. Zetor Crystal tractors weren't designed to impress anyone. They were designed to survive a system that couldn't afford failure. Born behind the Iron Curtain, the original Crystal line was built for collective farms where downtime wasn't an inconvenience. It was a threat. There were no dealerships on every corner, no quick parts shipments. If a tractor stopped working, it had to be fixed on the spot. So Zetor engineers made a radical choice: build everything heavier than necessary and simpler than expected. Thick castings, low-stressed engines, mechanical systems that could be repaired repeatedly without losing integrity. These tractors weren't elegant, they were stubborn. When Zetor Crystals began appearing outside Eastern Europe, farmers noticed something strange. They kept running under abuse that would cripple more refined machines. Poor fuel, extreme cold, overloaded implements, and they didn't complain. That's why Zetor Crystal earned its cult following. Not through advertising, but through survival stories passed between mechanics, restorers, and farmers who valued function over polish. It wasn't built for comfort, it was built to endure, again and again and again. Ranked 7th. Massey Ferguson 135. The tractor that survived the world. If you tried to design a tractor that could work everywhere, you'd probably fail. Different climates, different fuels, different levels of maintenance. Yet somehow the Massey Ferguson 135 did exactly that. From North American farms to African fields, from wet European soil to dry Australian dust, the MF 135 became something rare in agriculture. A machine that didn't care where it was sent. Its durability didn't come from brute force, it came from restraint. Engines that weren't pushed to their limits. Simple mechanical systems, parts that could be serviced, adjusted, and rebuilt without specialized equipment. In many regions, the MF 135 wasn't just a tractor. It was the only reliable machine available. It ran on inconsistent fuel. It worked without perfect oil changes. It kept going when replacement parts were weeks away, and it did so quietly. That's why the MF 135 earned cult status around the world. Not because it dominated headlines, but because millions of farmers trusted it with their livelihoods, often for decades. Some tractors become legends in one country. The MF 135 became one everywhere. Ranked 6th, Deutz D-series, air-cooled, the tractor that took heat out of the equation. Heat kills engines. Radiators clog. Coolant leaks. Hoses crack. One failure, and the day is over. Deutz looked at that reality and made a decision most manufacturers wouldn't dare to make. They removed the radiator entirely. The air-cooled Deutz D-series wasn't designed for comfort or refinement. It was designed to survive heat, dust, and neglect, conditions where cooling systems fail first. By eliminating liquid cooling, Deutz eliminated one of the most common causes of tractor death. No coolant to boil, no hoses to burst, no radiator to clog with debris. Instead, the engine relied on massive cooling fins, direct airflow, and conservative power output. It was loud, unforgiving, but incredibly hard to kill. Farmers ran these tractors in scorching fields, dry climates, and dusty environments where other machines overheated and shut down. The Deutz didn't. That's why the D-series earned its cult following. It didn't fight heat harder. It made heat irrelevant. And in farming, that kind of thinking can keep a machine alive for generations. Ranked 5th, Case 930, Comfort King. The tractor that never needed to hurry. The Case 930 Comfort King didn't win respect by being fast. It earned it by never needing to try again. This tractor was built around one idea: torque at low RPM. While others chased horsepower numbers, the 930 focused on pulling, steady, relentless, and unbothered by load. Its large displacement engine worked comfortably where others strained, keeping internal stress low and longevity high. Farmers noticed it immediately. You could lug the engine down, overload the implement, work it all day without revving it hard, and it didn't punish you for it. The Comfort King platform also shifted weight forward, improving balance and traction. Less wheel slip meant less shock through the drivetrain, another quiet contributor to its durability. Nothing about the 930 was delicate. It was built to accept abuse as part of the job. Decades later, many Case 900s and 30s are still running with original engines, original drivetrains, and only routine maintenance. Not because they were spared, but because they were used exactly the way they were designed to be used. The Case 930 didn't survive by racing time. It survived by refusing to rush it. Ranked 4th, International Harvester Farmall M. Built like a tool, not a product. The Farmall M comes from a time when tractors weren't refined. They were forged. Introduced in the late 1930s, the Farmall M was built with an industrial mindset: thick steel castings, simple mechanical systems, no unnecessary complexity. Everything about it suggested one priority: survive continuous work with minimal support, and it did. Farmers ran Farmall M's through war years, labor shortages, fuel rationing, and decades of hard field use. Maintenance wasn't precise, repairs weren't elegant, but the tractor didn't require either. The engine was understressed. The transmission was brutally simple. If something wore out, it could be repaired, not replaced. That's why so many Farmall M's outlived their era. They didn't just survive abuse, they were designed with the assumption that abuse was inevitable. Even today, you'll find Farmall M's still pulling wagons, running implements, and working small farms, often with engines that have been opened only a handful of times in their entire lives. The Farmall M didn't become a legend because it was advanced. It became one because it was honest. Steel, simplicity, and nothing pretending to be more than it needed to be. Ranked third, Ford 8N, the tractor that taught America to trust machines again. After World War II, American farms didn't need innovation. They needed reliability. The Ford 8N arrived at exactly that moment. Simple, affordable, and unintimidating, it wasn't built to dominate fields. It was built to get families back to work. And in doing so, it earned something far more valuable than praise. It earned trust. The 8N's genius wasn't power, it was accessibility. A straightforward engine, a three-point hitch system that transformed how implements were used, controls that made sense to people who had never owned a tractor before. Farmers learned on it, fixed it themselves, taught their children to drive on it, and it kept going. Many Ford 8Ns worked through decades of inconsistent care, questionable repairs, and constant use, not because they were indestructible, but because they were forgiving. They allowed mistakes. They accepted learning curves. That's why the Ford 8N became a legend. It wasn't just a tractor, it was the machine that helped an entire generation rebuild their livelihoods, and then refused to quit when they needed it most. Ranked second, Oliver 1850. The tractor that lasted so long, people stopped talking about it. The Oliver 1850 didn't become famous for breaking records. It became invisible. While other tractors earned attention through upgrades, recalls, or dramatic failures, the 1850 simply kept working, day after day, year after year, quietly accumulating hours without giving owners a reason to notice it. That silence was its secret. Powered by the legendary Waukesha diesel, the Oliver 1850 delivered steady power without drama. The engine wasn't pushed hard. The drivetrain absorbed load without protest. Nothing about the machine demanded attention, and that lack of urgency is exactly why it survived. Farmers didn't baby these tractors. They depended on them. And dependence is a harsher test than admiration. Many Oliver 1850s ran so reliably that their maintenance histories faded. Hour meters failed, ownership changed hands, and the tractor just kept going, often long after newer machines cycled through breakdowns. That's how the 1850 earned its cult status, not through stories of survival, but through the absence of stories at all. When a machine never gives you a reason to talk about it, that's usually because it refuses to die. In first place, John Deere 4020, the tractor everything else was measured against. There are durable tractors, and then there is the standard. The John Deere 4020 didn't just survive decades of work. It redefined what farmers expected a tractor to survive. Introduced in the 1960s, the 4020 arrived at a rare moment when engineering, materials, and mechanical restraint aligned perfectly. It offered real power without overstressing its components. Hydraulics that worked when others faded, a drivetrain that absorbed abuse without turning it into failure. Farmers noticed quickly. The 4020 could be worked hard, and then worked harder. It tolerated poor fuel, long hours, and delayed maintenance, and it kept its character. What truly made the 4020 refuse to die wasn't just durability, it was confidence. Owners trusted it with critical jobs. They delayed replacements, they passed it down. Many 402s weren't retired. They were simply moved to backup duty where they often outlived the tractors meant to replace them. That's how the 4020 became a legend. Not because it was perfect, but because it was right. Even today, the phrase "built like a 4020" still means something. When a machine becomes the benchmark for everything that follows, it doesn't fade away. It endures. Durability doesn't come from chasing numbers. It comes from decisions made quietly. Thicker castings, lower stress, and machines designed to be understood, not replaced. Every tractor in this list survived for the same reason. Someone trusted it enough to keep using it. They weren't perfect. They weren't modern. But they worked, long after the world expected them to stop. If you still see one of these tractors running today, it isn't nostalgia. It's proof that good engineering doesn't expire. And next time we'll look at the opposite story. Tractors that should have failed, but somehow didn't.